Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just want to do hopefully a fairly quick lesson. I just want to talk about the end times, mark of the beast, flat earth, all these different things. But I was actually thinking that I'll use this video to actually do a sermon for myself and just stuff that I've been thinking about recently, and just all the qualms that I have with what's going on in the world, looking at my life, being deceived, at least to some extent. The flat earth, if proven to be true conclusively, is proof that we've all been deceived, essentially from A to Z, because it encompasses really every aspect of a person's life. But even without that, there is an incredible amount of deception going on, and it's financial one, again, is obvious and mainstream. I was just watching A Call for an Uprising, and he just posted a video on free microchipping of dogs. And, it looks like that agenda is in full force and making its way to the forefront. But, even just on more subtle things, like why we're here, what our purpose is, and just what my goals were, what I was like working towards, and, why we're all here, and what is our purpose. I feel that has been possibly the most nefarious deception, just because it's very subtle, and it's not, technical or religious or spiritual. It festers, and it's one of those things that are very, very difficult to shake off. And in my opinion, not just shake off, but just replace with something else. And I think that's the thing that I've realized more and more, is that my qualms with the world are many, but I don't necessarily have a better alternative. And I think that's the thing that I've been wrestling with, in the last year or two. I would say the last 4 or 5 years, where I've started to get into all the deceptions based on, stuff I was watching with Russian vids and stuff that I know, about the financial world, and then flat earth and all these kind of things sort of working together. But, it's just, I don't necessarily know what an alternative is. And I think that's why I've been asking a couple people who, who I've interacted with on some of my live streams, like, what would be the alternative? I asked myself, what would I want to do, if I could create a perfect world? And I don't necessarily have a good answer for that. And I think that's my biggest issue, is that I don't really know what to do, to be totally honest. Like, I don't really know what to do. And I've had to catch myself many, many times. And that's sort of the thing that motivated me to do this video, is I can't be, I can't rain on other people's parade. I'm just, even sometimes when I'm on Instagram or just other things, and you see people, traveling, posting things that, they're excited about, things they've accomplished, and, you still see stuff like that. I think it's a good thing, and I have to be much better at, not raining on people's parade. If people are happy, prospering, enjoying it here, that's fine. I think there's a great number of people that are struggling. And I was just watching Uber and Lyft drivers were protesting today in some cities because of very, very low wages. And, the company's losing money, and somehow they're going public, which is proof of how big of a scam the stock market is now, because they're putting companies in the public market that are losing lots of money. I saw that it was making, I think, $750 million, but like losing $250 million or something. So like the numbers are awful. And so what they do in those situations is they just dump the companies on us, and in the stock market. And then we sort of pick up the tab through our 401k plans and all that kind of stuff. But, there's enough data points and people out there that are struggling, but there's also people who are happy, and I just have to, again, this is for me to just to be better at warning people about what I feel is coming, like the mark of the beast. But I don't know for sure, and I don't know the day or the hour. And, I think for me personally, again, I'm not anywhere near Jesus Christ level, so I'm not even going there. But he died a grisly death at the hands of people that he was there to sup with, to love, to fellowship with. and he asked God to forgive them. And so to me, that is the supreme ethic. And so he wasn't, whining and complaining every day leading up to his death, like, look at all you guys happy, and like, I'm about to go through this for you dummies and all that kind of stuff. He had a very, very different spirit, and that's why I worship him. And many of us worship him. And so I can't be like that fully, but I just realized, the spirit speaking to me is like, I have to warn people, because I feel like that's, my duty, to give people warning, that if this does happen and the government forces anybody to take an electronic device in their body to regulate whether they can buy or sell, don't do it, because there are consequences for taking it. And it essentially means God hates you, because you're a person who takes that, is worshiping something that is completely opposite of God and the way God is. And so again, this is his purpose. He's showing us and revealing himself in a lot of different ways. And many of them are by evil and deception and lies. And again, all we can hope is for a righteous purpose. And he will redeem these experiences and make them into something more, and allow us to learn more about him and see more of his good side, and only his good side. And, I feel like that's what God's children are crying out for in these days. And it's nice getting these, warnings from channels like Call for an Uprising, who has a lot of subs. And then you read down below, I mean, every comment's like Mark of the Beast, like indirectly or directly saying that this is the agenda. They're putting it in dogs for free. Like, of course, then why would they do that? All the stuff that's for free, and he makes a great point, is stuff that is consistent with this beast systems agenda, abortions, vaccines, microchipping, and all that kind of stuff. And there may even come a time where the mark of the beast will be implemented, but with a small financial incentive, or potentially a large one, something like universal basic income and all that. So, but the thing is that especially people who are like me in this kind of end time stuff, we have to be careful. I have to be careful in that, we have to know that people will take it. Some people are happy here, and I think it's the purest thing for me to align myself with people who are complaining about things for the right reasons and for similar reasons, but also know that there are a lot of people who are happy, and they want to continue to be here in this system, and we can't get in their way, and I think that's been a major sort of achievement for me, is to like move on from just like getting mad at people, like, why are you happy here, like what's going on, and all that kind of stuff, where my unhappiness is definitely related to all the lies and the deception and all the evil. But for me, actually, and I'm not saying I'm special, but I find that for me, it's actually even more fundamental. Like, even if I did have a quote unquote great job, a family and all these kind of things that are the things that people would cite to state that they like being here, that there would still be, in my opinion, just a boredom, and just what's the point of all this? And so I think that my issues with the world are much more fundamental and really can only be answered by God, if God exists. And so, I think that I'll continue to put my thoughts out there and, try to not, sell anything, and just state what I'm feeling, the way I see things. And, to me, it doesn't make sense. I just think that, there are people who are like me, who are just absolutely not inclined to ever take something like the mark of the beast, and not necessarily on a moral high road, just strictly because we're bored. It's like there would be no reason, and I've done a past video on why it doesn't make statistical sense to take the mark of the beast if encountered with that, because why would I take even a 1% chance to take a device by what I know now is a satanic government, and have that be the mark of the beast that the Bible prophesies, and there's a punishment to be in a place that I don't like. I have nothing to do here, and having a microchip in my body certainly doesn't help that, and I think that's partially why, largely why I think the mark of the beast has to happen fairly soon, because people are just running out of money. People are running out of things to do, i.e. having a job, and or having any security in that job. And so to me, I don't see how, if the Bible is indeed true, that, you know, it could be implemented way down the road. But again, that's just, you know, what I see. And I have to be very aware of the fact that, you know, it may not happen on the time that I set, you know, and I have to be happy for other people. You know, I think that one of the most evil things that I catch myself thinking a lot, and I squelch immediately, is wanting destruction. I don't think that's a pure thing. You know, I think that if God wants it, and if God is doing it, that's a different thing. But for me personally, to sit and like wait for the stock market to crash, or wait for a missile to drop on people or myself, or wait for the mark of the beast and to tag people, and then God to destroy, quote unquote, destroy them and clean them up. There is an element of evil in that, you know, and I don't want any part of that. And as much as, again, like I said, I have to warn people, this is what the Bible says. This is what God likes. This is what God doesn't like. God doesn't like certain things. He doesn't like homosexuality. He created it. He created all the major evils in the world, not just that one, but he doesn't like these things, you know. And so really, ultimately, my opinion doesn't matter, you know, because I will die. I will not live forever in this body. And so anything that happens beyond that is God's choice. It's his decision. I have no say in that. There's no buttons I can push. There's no magical pill I can take. It's all over, you know, and that's the same for all of us. And so I think that more and more I have to be much more aware of the fact that it's only God's opinion that matters. And me personally, the only opinion I care about is the God of the Bible, because he is proving himself to be true, in my opinion, more and more every day. There's still a strong element of faith that is needed to believe that he exists and he is working in the world. But, you know, I am fully, quote unquote, sold out to that God. And I have to be much better at representing him in the way that he came on earth and represented his Father, the Heavenly Father, and how Jesus Christ behaved, and the things that he said and did, but also the things that he didn't say. And the things that he didn't say to a lot of people, to me, actually encodes quite a bit of information, and things that we know that he wouldn't say to people. And he didn't wish bad things upon people, you know, even though people attacked him and literally crucified him, you know, and physically harmed him. And I haven't had that, you know, up to this point in my life. And, you know, that in and of itself should give me much more an easier time, you know, to wish well for other people, even if they're, you know, don't agree on the things that I believe. And so mostly, you know, this is just a sermon to myself. And I think just if it catches somebody else in the same, you know, resonates with that, especially people who are on the quote unquote forefront of the end times, and, you know, the mark of the beast, and America's Babylon, and, you know, who the real Jews are, and some of these flat earth, some of these things that are major, you know, and in my opinion, prophetic, and signal that we're at the end, and at the end of the end. And, you know, so I have to, and I say this largely as well for accountability, because I feel like these videos that I post, I feel like they're actually just for me, you know, and I think that that's the right way to do it for anybody who shares things on the internet, YouTube, or goes out and preaches. It's for ourselves, because we as humans need to keep growing. We're not God. We're not perfect. God doesn't change. He's already perfect. So we're in this process, and I feel like all these things that we do, it's for me, you know, and if it happens to resonate with somebody else, they happen to be thinking the same things, being baited into those same questions by God, that's a beautiful thing, you know. And I like talking to people like that, because in my opinion, it's the same shepherd, it's the same voice that's speaking to those people, if enough things are in common. And so, you know, that's why I put my stuff out there. And I think this is a form of accountability for myself, that, you know, I can, again, all I'm responsible for is to warn people that it looks like a lot of things are lining up for the mark of the beast, and flat earth is one of them. And, you know, that's all I can do, you know, and just be happy for other people. You know, if they're getting promoted, they have a job that they like to go to, you know, they're having, you know, raising a family, they're traveling, they're learning new things. That's great. You know, just, that's a blessing. You know, I think that God is working some plan out I have faith in, and you know, it's a mysterious thing, and may I not be the one who you know, constipates that even 1 degree, 1 iota, and you know, I don't want to be that guy. And I think that more and more I just am going to focus on things of the end times, do it maybe with a more sober disposition, a more balanced disposition. But again, there's just more and more information coming out daily that something's brewing, you know, of a spiritual nature. But I just put that out there. You know, I hope everyone's doing well, and I would be very, very careful in these times, because again, in my opinion, as more and more evil increases, which it looks like it is, there's a lot of strange spirits out there, you know, and may we not add to the confusion and to the evil even 1 bit. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.